4 fishermen missing after boat capsizes off TERENGGANU. Government hunting for traitors aiding Marawi militants. Good afternoon, you're watching News on 2 with me, Mohammed Amin Carlos. Well, 4 fishermen went missing while another managed to swim to safety after their boat capsized in Kuala Lumpur yesterday. And according to authorities, in the 9:40 p.m. incident, the fishermen had failed to enter into the Kuala Lumpur River estuary, forcing them to use a fiberglass boat to return to the jetty. However, their fiberglass boat was hit by strong waves, which caused it to overturn and capsize. The 4 missing fishermen are identified as Nazri Yaqub, 37, Wahab in his 40s, Apandi in his 30s, and Pok, who is in his 20s. Fire Senior Superintendent Sheikh Muhammad Badrul Isham Sheikh Muhammad Noor said the SAR operation involving 20-member team comprising police, fire department and civil defence force personnel was launched immediately after receiving the distress call. The SAR operations resumed at 7 a.m. today. In Bido, Perak, a man was burnt to death in a fire that also destroyed 126 rooms in workers' quarters at Batu Dua, Jalan Bidor, Tapa today. Bidor District Chief Rejwan Bihadi Baharudin, when confirming the incident, said they received an emergency call at 2:37 a.m. and sent a team to the location. The team managed to control the fire at around 3:30 a.m. And fire personnel found the charred remains of a man believed to be a Bangladesh national in his 30s in one of the burned rooms. The fire was successfully extinguished at around 4:30 a.m. Well, meanwhile, yesterday in Samarahan, Sarawak, a motorcyclist was killed in a head-on collision with a 4-wheel drive vehicle. The accident happened at 10:40 p.m. at Jalan Kota Samarahan in Sengay. According to Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Deputy Chief DSP Bingkok John, it was believed that the 4-wheel drive was trying to overtake another vehicle but entered into the opposite lane before crashing into the motorcyclist. The motorcyclist, Bol Hassan, died at the scene due to severe head injuries, and his body was sent to Sarawak General Hospital for post-mortem. The case is being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act, 1987. The government has identified 16 Malaysians who allegedly fed information and conspired with militants in Marawi city in southern Philippines. Well, according to the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato' Sri Dr. Shahidan Kasim, the relevant authorities are currently on the hunt for the traitors.
Jadi pun kita kena pasti. Kita sudah edarkan gambar mereka di rata-rata supaya kita dapat memburu mereka ini, kerana mereka ini selama ini menjadi tali barut. Dan untuk pengetahuan yang berhormat, kita sedar apa yang berlaku di Filipina, di mana sekarang ini kita tahu kematian kumpulan militer adalah 411 orang, 97 anggota pasukan keselamatan dan 45 orang awam.
When asked on the possibility of the thousands of displaced people fleeing the fighting from Marawi making their way into Malaysia through Sabah, Dato' Sri Dr. Shahidan said the government did not rule out the possibility and was prepared to take the necessary action in the event of such an occurrence. The Home Ministry is giving some 150,000 United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees UNHCR card holders in Malaysia until September 30th to apply for the special MIRC identity card issued by the ministry. Now, the application for the MIRC card program, which was launched in April, aims to facilitate the Home Ministry in monitoring and controlling the safety of the refugees. According to Deputy Home Minister Dr. Nur Jazlan Muhammad, UNHCR refugees are urged to apply for the MIRC card after they input their biometric data under the new Tracking Refugees Information System, or TRIS. This will ensure that the government have the updated and extensive data on the refugees, whom are increasing in numbers each year.
Jadi kalau kerajaan tidak mengambil tindakan sekarang ini untuk mengenal pasti mereka secara biometrik, ini akan menjadikan satu loophole, ya, di mana banyak pihak tertentu yang akan mengambil kesempatan, terutamanya daripada segi transnational crime, jenayah rentas padan. Ya, kerana mereka ada komuniti yang bertapak di sini, yang mereka boleh mendapat perlindungan dan juga boleh menjadi bantuan kepada penjaringan lintas padan ini dan juga kepada insiden terorisme.
Since April 1st, only 321 UNHCR refugees have registered to get the MIRC, comprising Myanmar nationals 98%, Pakistanis 1.25%, and Sri Lankans 0.31%. The government has started distributing a 25 million ringgit special allocation for maintenance to 157 sekolah jenis kebangsaan Tamil, that's SJKT, categorized as government schools. And Deputy Education Minister Dato' P. Kamalanathan said the first phase of the funding was part of a 50 million ringgit provision allocated for the year in Budget 2017 tabled by Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Tun Razak. Dato' Kamalanathan said overall there were 524 SJKTs in the country, out of which 367 were government-aided schools and 157 government schools. So far, the provision has only been given to the aided schools. This time, the allocation will also be given to the government schools to enable these schools to carry on upgrading and maintenance works. The second phase of the distribution of the remaining 25 million ringgit this year is expected to be made in September. On a separate matter, Dato' Kamalanathan warned school management against covering up bully cases among students, especially in school compounds.
Ingin menegaskan sekali lagi, saya beri peringatan kepada semua sekolah di luar sana, kalau ada perkara buli yang sekiranya Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia mendapati anda telah menyembunyikan perkara ini, saya boleh memastikanlah ya, Kementerian Pendidikan tidak akan ragu-ragu mengambil tindakan terhadap pengurusan sekolah.
On July 4th, Education Minister Dato' Sri Mazir Khalid announced that the ministry had finally agreed to leave it to the police instead of the school management to handle cases of bullying in schools. He said the move would curb bullying in schools which had become rampant with apparent criminal elements. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, arrested 10 individuals yesterday on suspicion of abetting in the illegal bauxite mining activity. Of the 10 suspects were a senior customs officer and 9 Pahang Land and Mineral Office or PTG personnel. Now, MACC Intelligence Division Director Dato' Sri Ahmad Kusari Yahya confirmed the arrest, saying that the Commission had been monitoring the illegal activity over the past several months. Now, the 56-year-old customs officer has been remanded for 7 days from yesterday. And meanwhile, the 9 PTG personnel, aged between 39 and 59, were rounded up at several locations around Kuantan. The MACC also raided the Pahang PTG office, Customs Department and Kuantan Port to obtain several documents related to the investigation. Now, apart from the arrest, the Commission had also detained 18 lorries transporting bauxite from illegal mines around Bukit Goh and Bukit Sagu on Tuesday. MACC launched the operation when it was discovered that illegal bauxite mining had been ongoing despite the state government's extension of the moratorium. The Customs Department seized 74 kilograms of ivory worth 275,000 ringgit yesterday that was believed to have been smuggled in from Lagos, Nigeria. And speaking at KLIA, Deputy Customs Director Dato' Muhammad Budziman said the seizure was made at the Kuala Lumpur Airport Cargo Warehouse.
Sepasukan pegawai daripada Jabatan Kastam KLIA telah menahan 2 buah kotak di gudang kargo udara zon penerbangan bebas KLIA. Dan ini datang dengan penerbangan Etihad Airways, iaitu penerbangan daripada Lagos, Abu Dhabi dan Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur, dia punya final destination adalah di Kuala Lumpur. 2 buah kotak ini dikirakan sebagai foodstuff. Hasil semakan kita mendapati syarikat yang ada pada kotak ini tidak wujud. Dan apabila kita buka di dalamnya, didapati terdapat 23 batang gading gajah seberat 75.74 kg bernilai RM275,000.
On the same day, custom officials also seized pangolin scales worth 3.8 million ringgit. They weighed more than 300 kilograms and are believed to have been smuggled from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There have been countless seizures over the past 12 months of illegal wildlife products coming from Africa into Malaysia. Prasarana to avoid remaining 2.5 billion ringgit LRT3 to local companies. That and more coming up. The busy sees the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, is calling for the government to increase its 10% maximum 120 ringgit per year contribution in the One Malaysia Retirement Savings Scheme, or SKIM Simpanan Persaraan Satu Malaysia, SSP 1M, to cater to the increasing growth of labour in the informal economic sector. EPF Chairman Tan Sri Samsudin Osman said the growth of the GIG economy, also known as the informal sector, has increased by 31% this year, outpacing the workforce in traditional jobs.
The government has for a long time given some contribution to people who are independent, who work on their own. It's I forget the amount. We've requested government to increase that amount, yes, as government's contribution to their contribution. Like you all, like people in the formal sector who are working with companies, your contribution is about 12, government is 11, the government is 12. But for them, we limit it, to about 60,000 a year. And government had some very, well, it's not a lot, but we want government to increase that amount, just to incentivize them.
EPF also supports the Employment Insurance Scheme, EIS, which seeks to extend welfare coverage for the country's 6.5 million private workers by compelling employers to contribute additional payment and bar them from making cuts to wages and fixed perks. The novel bill was tabled for the first reading in the Dewan Rakyat yesterday. The 2018 budget, to be presented by Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Tun Razak on October 27th, will focus on efforts to increase the people's earnings, boost investments, especially in public infrastructure and high-impact projects, and spur the digital economy through creativity and innovation. Now, in doing so, the target to double the country's economy to nominal gross domestic product, or GDP, of 2 trillion ringgit by 2025 can be achieved. Now, in a statement issued after the Fiscal Policy Committee, or FPC, meeting yesterday, it was disclosed that the FPC deliberated on fiscal consolidation measures to strive to achieve a near-balanced budget in 2020. And the Ministry of Finance said the FPC scrutinized the country's fiscal position and medium-term economic growth, as well as the fiscal risks, including the unexpected external liabilities, to ensure that the government's exposure would be under control and minimal. And efforts will be focused on increasing efficiency and minimizing leakages in revenue collection and expenditures. Prasarana Malaysia Berhad has awarded a work package worth 1.56 billion ringgit under Klang Valley's third Light Rail Transit, or LRT3 project, to a consortium comprising CCRC, Rizal Locomotive Company Limited, Siemens Limited China, and Tegab Dynamic Sendirian Berhad. The consortium was the only one that submitted a bid for the light rail vehicle, or LRV package, by the November 23rd deadline last year, from among 5 groups that were pre-qualified in May. It will be responsible for the design, manufacture, supply, delivery, installation, testing and commissioning of 42 6-car LRVs for the project. Capable of carrying 1,271 passengers per LRV, they are Malaysia's first 6-car driverless trains. To date, 11 out of 59 LRT3 work packages have been awarded.
We have full confidence that the suppliers can supply what they're supposed to supply. Congratulations, we know our expectation. So I suppose immediately after the signing of the contract, work will start. And we hope to deliver the whole project to the government of Malaysia by 31st August 2020.
Meanwhile, Prasarana will be awarding remaining 3 main work packages valued at about 2 billion ringgit to 2.5 billion for the LRT3 project only to local companies. The company will announce the successful tenderer by end of this month. Spanning 37 kilometers in length and running from Bandar Utama to Klang, the LRT3 is to be completed in 2020. But first, a gamble by Selangor to introduce new faces in the Malaysia Cup backfired as they fell to a 2-1 home defeat against strugglers Sarawak in Group D last night. And Sarawak are fighting relegation in the Malaysia Super League and have been whipping boys in cup competitions. But they deserve their victory over the 33-time champion Selangor at the Selayang Stadium. The Red Giants started strongly with national under-22 winger Shami Savari trying his luck with 2 efforts in the first 15 minutes. He was by far the best player in the opening exchanges, and it was no surprise when he was involved in the opening goal. His floated free kick found Uko Uka, and the defender met the delivery by nodding home to put the most ahead in the 37th minute. Sarawak, who are already eliminated from the competition, found the equalizer in the 52nd minute. It came through their Croatian forward Matija Roskam, who drove an effort past Zarif Irfan. Sarawak were inspired by the equalizer, and they took a surprise lead through Milos Rajkovic midway through the second half. The result leaves Selangor below Johor Darul Ta'zim in the group ahead of their second meeting on September 9th.